On the news tonight, APGA National Chairman Chief Oye celebrates his 66th birthday. NUJ partners stakeholders in health sector ahead of health summit. INEC begins talks with a CBN over election materials shortage. Storage. EU-China to hold high-level talks over Russia and Ukraine war. Before the news in detail, here's a special message. Governor Chukwuma Soludo has come for a total turnaround, the maintenance of the Anambra State economy and promotion of core Igbo values. Let us give him maximum support for the task ahead. Good evening and welcome to the news. My name is Chidema Orangwa. The national chairman of the All Progressives Grand Alliance, APGA, Chief Ike Oye, says it has been a great life journey at 66. Princess Ekwi Ajide, ABS Abuja Bureau Chief, reports that the national chairman, who spoke at a surprise birthday party organized by some party members to celebrate his new age, thanks supporters and friends of the party for making his reign worthwhile. We have details from our studio.
It was an evening of surprises and accolades as speaker after speaker eulogized the chairman, who they described as godly, humane, and an epitome of accountability. Addressing the guests, Chief Oye, while thanking God for leading him through the 66 years on earth, thanked the organizers for what he termed a coup well plotted and urged members to always trust in God, as he alone knows their problems at all times. He prayed for a better Nigeria in his time, saying that his sojourn in politics in over 40 years has been a great success, as APGA has grown in leaps and bounds since he mounted the leadership.
The journey has been very tortuous, but God has been of immense support and help to us. And I continue to thank God for his mercy and love. And I pray God that in my time, Nigeria will be better than it is today.
Speakers at the surprise party, including Honorables Chris Azubog and Leo Nguba, and the APGA Vice Chairman Southeast, Chief Uche Nwobo, said they are celebrating visionary leadership that has shaped and held the party strongly together to oust imposters. For others, such as the organizing chairman of the party, Chief Emeka Okonkwo, National Youth Leader of APGA, Chinedu Nebife, Nnanna Nzewi, Chief Chikwe Udensi, amongst others, said he is a leader who has touched every aspect of their lives and treats everyone equally, as he has no favorite. In Abuja, Princess Ekwi Ajide, ABS News.
The Nigerian Union of Journalists, NUJ, has paid a courtesy visit to Chief Medical Director, CMD Preston Orthopedic and Specialist Hospital, ORCA, to discuss possible partnership in the upcoming NUJ Health Summit Week. Correspondent Onyinye Agobeze has details.
In his address, the chairman of the NUJ Anambra chapter, Dr. Emeka Odogwu, thanked the CMD, Dr. Amechi Nwachukwu, for his philanthropic efforts, which included assisting accident victims, providing free treatments to the less fortunate, and subsidizing treatment for NUJ members. Dr. Emeka also thanked the CMD for agreeing to chair the event and requesting collaboration in the NUJ's health care.
We want to partner with you in every way we can. It's not only about coming to hospital. Yes, coming to hospital is good, but we equally want to build a better society, because you also is a philanthropist championing the cause of society. You also a health practitioner healing the society. You also an evangelist and a pastor equally saving lives for Christ. We want you to save us in the NUJ. Is it not?
Earlier, Mrs. Chinyere Fesi Okoye, chairman of the NUJ Health Committee, stated separately that the purpose of the visit is to request his presence at the summit as the event's chairman and to solicit his support for a successful event. Mrs. Chinyere stated that in the course of carrying out their duties as journalists, they forget to imbibe healthy lifestyles, and as such, they have been mandated to carry out this health activity and educate themselves on good health practices.
And we are giving the mandate to organize activities that will help us to attract Medicare, lectures, and all of more that we help to educate new journalists on what is expected of us to stay healthy because of our duty. So that mandate is what we are now carrying out with these events that we are scheduled to come up on the 27th of this month, being last Wednesday in the month of July.
Accepting the invitation, Dr. Amechi Nwachukwu thanked the NUJ for selecting him as chairman and pledged partnership with the union in encouraging the media to do their job as the society's watchdog. Dr. Amechi emphasized the importance of always checking one's health status because there may be underlying health issues.
I want to thank you for actually inviting me and be your friend and a partner in progress. I haven't done a lot with many of you, you know. I wish to accept the invitation and also say that I've seen the appeal that you sent. The truth is that these things are very important, you know. Health is very important among every practitioner. Whether you're a doctor, whether you are a journalist, whether you're an engineer, so it's very important that this health thing has been, you know, included in your project and in your plan of the year, so that people can look at their health very well.
In a vote of thanks, Comrade David Eleke praised the CMD, Dr. Nwachukwu, for being philanthropic and media-friendly. In Oka, I am Onye Agubeze reporting for ABS News.
Parishioners, friends and families assembled at the Redeemed Christian Church of God RCCG Peace Parish Area Headquarters Nkwele Okozo, Oyi Council area for a special send-off service in honor of Pastor Cornelius and Deaconess Nonyelomo Ajero, who were transferred to another parish after serving as the minister in residence. For details and more, let's join Blessing Uchendu.
The special service, which was attended by members of the church from across the country, also served as a moment to share testimonies of God's goodness and show of gratitude through thanksgiving. In a sermon, the pastor in charge of Province 1, RCCG Anambra 1, Emmanuel Kayode, advised ministers of God to ensure that the word of God gets to the yet to be reached, with the aim of winning more souls for Christ. In a message titled Honoring the Servants of God, Pastor Kayode called on the Christians to keep praying for church leaders and charged the ministers of God to expand the scope of evangelism, resist challenges, and ensure that Christ is always seen in them.
I commend the congregation and the pastorate for this honor. Praise that God will take them from glory to glory, from grace to grace, that they will remain relevant and they will do more exploit for God.
On his part, the new area pastor in charge of RCCG Peace Parish Okozo, Pastor Emmanuel Oji, who testified how God used Pastor Ajero to spread the gospel of Christ in the area, prayed for more grace upon his family and promised to carry on from where he stopped. In their separate remarks, Pastor Ajero and his wife Nonyalom, a staff member of Anambra Broadcasting Service, recalled God's faithfulness upon them throughout their years of evangelism in the parish and thanked members of the church for supporting their ministry during their stay. They equally called on the parishioners to avail their successors stronger support to enable them succeed in God's work.
My charge to them is to be faithful. I want my members, I want the congregation to be faithful to their God, to serve Him in truth and in spirit.
Today is our send forth. They'll set aside today to honor us, to bless us. The joy of the Lord is my strength. I'm so happy to be here.
In their different testimonies, Messrs. Henry Kalu, Goody Obuago, and Grace Ewesobi acknowledged the goodness of God upon them and how God used Pastor Ajero and his family to touch many souls, even as they prayed for more grace upon their lives. The special service featured prayers, praises, and thanksgiving as the congregation danced to the glory of God.
New executive members of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, have been charged to sustain the tempo of operational standards of the outgoing team so as to remain the best performing regional economic community in the continent. Nigeria's Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Zubairu Dada, gave the charge at the handing over ceremony of the President of the ECOWAS Commission, Jean-Claude Cassibro, in Abuja. ABS Abuja Bureau Chief Prince Ekwi Ajire has details.
The 4-year tenure of Jean-Claude Cassibro, President of the ECOWAS Commission, elapsed this July 2022, and Dr. Omar Aliu Toure, a Gambian who assumed office as President of the ECOWAS Commission, is expected to work for the next 4 years. Addressing the assemblage, the Minister of State applauded the outgoing team for having worked tremendously despite the daunting challenges of insecurity, poverty, health, as well as the Russia and Ukraine war, which he noted has ravaged the region with food crisis. He urged them to place the interests of the people they represent above other issues to ensure the enhancement of the ECOWAS Commission, advising the new management to ensure accountability and effective administration to boost citizens' confidence in the region.
This occasion aptly presents an opportunity for us to reflect on the achievements of the outgoing management in the hope that the new management will not lower the standards but build on the successes that have already been recorded.
For the outgoing President of ECOWAS Commission, Jean-Claude Cassibro, the past 4 years have been spent on implementing their mandate despite numerous difficulties faced by the region. He therefore commended the ECOWAS member states for their support to victims of natural disasters and conflicts arising from terrorist attacks in the sub-region. He advised that the regional action plan to combat terrorism in West Africa that has been elaborated be implemented, as it would be effective in addressing security challenges. While the incoming president of the ECOWAS Commission, Dr. Omar Aliu Toure, on his part, commended heads of states and governments for entrusting him and his team with the office, noting that there is need for constant collaboration and commitment with partners to arrest hunger and poverty in the region, especially at these critical moments of insecurity.
I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate all incoming statutory appointees for their nomination as leader of ECOWAS institution for the next 4 years. Our multilateral and bilateral partners will all agree that at no moment has partnership been so important than now. The insecurity we face at various levels would require deeper partnerships and consistent collaboration. Our partnership should therefore be sufficiently equitable and efficient to enable us to lift our people from abject poverty through capacity building, investment, and fair trade.
However, in a bid to reduce operational costs as proposed by member states, the ECOWAS Commission, which previously had 15 executives, now has 7 members charged with the responsibility of making the institution more people-oriented and developmentally driven to achieve the set targets. In Abuja, Princess Ekwi Ajide, ABS News.
The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has said it was still in talks with the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, over storage of election materials. INEC Commissioner for Information and Voter Education, Festus Okoye, disclosed this week after the chairman, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, said sensitive materials will no longer be stored in CBN in the wake of plans by Governor of the Apex Bank, Godwin Emefiele, to contest the presidency. Yakubu has said the electoral body never had an issue with the CBN since the partnership started, but noted that due to current circumstances, an alternative will be found. He said the commission employed the services of the Nigeria Air Force for the logistics of the electoral materials, adding that because of the huge amount of the ballot papers and all the sensitive materials, the commission will have a sit-down with the CBN to draw out plans for the 2023 elections. Efforts by pension fund administrators, PFAs, to enroll more informal sector workers into the contributory pension scheme, CPS, under its micro pension scheme appears to be paying off, as a total of 2.897 new contributors were enrolled in the first quarter of 2022. This indicates a 3.7% quarter-on-quarter increase against 2,166 recorded in the previous quarter, that is, fourth quarter of 2021. With the new enrollment, according to the first quarter 2022 report released by the National Pension Commission, PENCOM, total number of micro-pension contributors increased to 76,588 in the first quarter of 2022 from 73,600 recorded in the fourth quarter of 2021. PENCOM stated in a report that 18 pension fund administrators, PFAs, registered 2,897 contributors in the first quarter of 2022. This brought the total number of micro-pension contributors to 76,588 as at 31st of March 2022. The MPP was initiated by the National Pensions Commission, PENCOM, and was designed to incorporate workers in the informal sector of the economy into the pension scheme in a bid to provide cover for 30% of the national workforce by 2024. A key goal of the effort is to boost the country's financial inclusion. China and the European Union will hold high-level talks on the economy and trade amidst tension over the war in Ukraine, the treatment of ethnic minority Muslims in Xinjiang, and an unratified investment deal. Vladimir Dombrovskis, Executive Vice President of the EU Commission, and Chinese Vice Premier Li Hu will co-chair the virtual meeting involving the economic officials from each side on Tuesday. The dialogue comes after months of failed effort to set a date for talks after the 10th EU-China summit in April, during which the sides failed to agree on a joint statement amid divisions over the war in Ukraine and human rights concerns. In May, the European Parliament voted to freeze a sweeping investment deal with China that was 7 years in the making after Beijing slapped the sanctions on European lawmakers in retaliation of the sanctioning of Chinese officials accused of oppressing the Uyghur population in Xinjiang province. And now sports. Nigerian cyclists at the weekend finished fourth at the just concluded 2022 Africa Track Cycling Championship held in the Velodrome of Mashood Abiola National Stadium, Abuja. South Africa dominated the championship, which featured 13 other countries. Nigeria cyclists won 4 gold, 7 silver and 6 bronze medals to end with 17 medals, a far cry from their position at the recent Africa Cup Championship that the cyclists dominated at the same venue. Some of the Nigerian cyclists had inadequate preparation for the Continental Championship. Our preparation and welfare during this African Track Cycling Championship was completely zero and a complete departure from the previous ones. This time, there was no proper training and our feeding was next to zero. South African amassed 43 medals, comprising 20 gold, 13 silver and 9 bronze. Egypt placed second with 8 golds, 8 silver and 10 bronze, while Algeria came third with 5 gold, 5 silver and 7 bronze medals. Remember that you can follow news and programs on ABS from any parts of the world by liking our Facebook page at ABS Radio Television. Subscribe to our YouTube page at ABS Television Orca. Follow us on Instagram at ABS Radio TV. Log on to our website at www.absradiotv.com. And now the main points again. APGA National Chairman Chief Oye has celebrated his 66th birthday. NUJ has partnered stakeholders in health sector ahead of a health summit. INEC has begun talks with CBN over election material storage. And we also told you on the foreign scene that EU and China are to hold high-level talks over Russia-Ukraine war. Here's a special message before we go. Governor Chukwuma Soludo has come for a total turnaround, maintenance of the Anambra State economy and promotion of core Igbo values. Let us give him maximum support for the task ahead. And that's it on the news tonight. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Chidimma Orangwa. Good night.